Okay, picture this. It's January 7th, 2009. A 5-page letter is about to land on the desks of India's stock exchange. It's from a man considered a national hero, a true titan of industry. And by the time the world was done reading it, a billion-dollar empire built on a dream would just turn to dust.
And these are the first words, the start of a confession that would unravel a lie that had been going on for 7 years. A deception so huge it would shake the very foundations of corporate India and send shockwaves around the world. The man writing these words was basically saying, I can't do this anymore. The burden is just too much.
And this was the size of that burden. 7,000 crore rupees. That was over $1 billion back then. And listen, this wasn't a loss or a bad investment. This was money that, well, it never existed. It was a complete phantom, a ghost in the machine of what was supposed to be India's 4th largest IT company.
So, that's the real mystery here, isn't it? The man behind all this, Ramalinga Raju, he was celebrated. He was winning awards. People trusted him. He was literally the face of this new, optimistic, rising India. How did it all go so spectacularly wrong?
To really get how this all came crashing down, we've got to go back to the beginning. Our story starts in Hyderabad with a young, incredibly ambitious engineer, Ramalinga Raju, who had this big vision. He saw the future, and he knew it was going to be powered by technology.
And wow, did his vision become a reality. And fast! From this tiny little office in 1987 with just 20 people, Satyam just exploded onto the global stage. They were landing huge clients. I mean, household names, right? General Electric, Nestle, Cisco. By 2008, this thing wasn't just a company. It was a global empire.
And Raju, he wasn't just a CEO. The guy was a rock star. He was winning these prestigious awards, sitting on the board of the World Economic Forum, advising the Indian government. Get this, Satyam was even being studied at Harvard as a model of excellence. He was, in every single way, the poster boy for India's massive success story.
And here's where the story gets just painfully ironic. The company's name, Satyam, is the Sanskrit word for truth. And for years, the entire world believed every single word of its incredible story. Nobody had a clue that behind this symbol of truth was one of the biggest lies in corporate history.
But, behind all the awards and the skyrocketing stock price, a really dark secret was growing. It started small, just a little lie to smooth over a bad quarter. But pretty soon, Raju found himself, in his own words, riding a tiger, and he just couldn't get off.
So to keep this lie going, the methods had to get crazier and crazier. They literally invented fake customers. They created thousands of fake invoices for projects that never happened. They were paying salaries to phantom employees and just pocketing the cash. And to top it all off, they forged bank statements to make the whole thing look legit.
The scale of this thing is it's hard to even wrap your head around. The company claimed it was sitting on a cash pile of over 5,000 crore rupees. The reality? 5 crores. 99% of their cash was pure fiction. Revenues were inflated by almost double. The whole company was a hollow shell.
So for 7 years, Raju lived this double life. To the world, he's this visionary genius. In private, he's drowning in a sea of fake numbers and doctored reports. Can you imagine? Every single board meeting, every earnings call was a performance. He'd become a prisoner of the very image he had built.
Look, a lie this big just can't last forever. By late 2008, the global financial crisis is raging and the walls are finally closing in. The gap between the real Satyam and the fake Satyam had become this massive chasm that you just couldn't hide anymore. Raju needed a way out, and he planned one last, desperate move.
And the plan was so audacious. He was going to use Satyam's fake, non-existent cash to buy 2 very real companies owned by his own family. It was like a corporate magic trick, right? An attempt to swap fake money for real assets and plug the gaping hole in the books. But for the first time, his board and his investors said no way. They revolted.
The gambit failed, and the end came so fast. With no other cards to play, Raju wrote his confession letter. The market's reaction was immediate and absolutely brutal. Satyam's stock price didn't just fall, it evaporated. It plunged 78% in a single day.
The cost, both human and financial, was just catastrophic. In a matter of hours, $2 billion of investor wealth was just wiped out. Think about that. Life savings, retirement funds, institutional money, all gone.
The dreams of thousands of people shattered because of one man's lie.
The dominoes just fell one after another. Raju and his brother were arrested. But the fallout went way beyond them. The company's auditors, PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the biggest accounting firms in the world, were banned in India for their role in this. And a chilling question started echoing in boardrooms everywhere. If Satyam could lie, who else is lying?
People started calling this India's Enron. It was a moment of deep, deep shame. But you know what? It was also a moment of reckoning. The legacy of Satyam isn't just about the fraud, it's about the painful but necessary lessons that were learned in its wake.
And the lessons are so fundamental. Raju's initial small lie spiraled into this catastrophe because he kept trying to cover it up. It just proved that real success, lasting success, can't be built on illusions. It needs integrity. And so crucially, it showed that the gatekeepers, the auditors, the regulators, they have a sacred duty, and they have to be held accountable when they fail.
The name Satyam, which was once this source of national pride, was just erased. The company's remains were sold off to a rival, Tech Mahindra, for a tiny fraction of what it was once worth. But out of those ashes, real change started to happen. India moved fast to put stricter corporate and auditing laws in place, determined to never let this happen again.
You know, in the end, the story of Satyam is really a timeless cautionary tale. It's this stark reminder that it doesn't matter how big or how celebrated or how powerful you are, an empire built on a foundation of lies is always destined to crumble. The truth eventually comes out.
The scandal cost billions of dollars, for sure, but the true price was so much greater. It was paid in lost jobs, in shattered trust, and a whole nation's damaged reputation. And it leaves us with this final lingering question to think about. Beyond all the money, what is the real human cost of a lie of this magnitude?